Dead scientists litter the park, while I, a teenager with memory problems, am somehow still alive. At this point, I'm convinced every Ominent employee got hammered at the company ceremony and tried to ride wolf spiders bareback like it was a mechanical bull. So that's 2 for guilty, you drunk bastards. Also, every day, video games commit crimes against defenseless players, frame rate drops, unfair bosses, and emotional cliffhangers. In the gaming justice system, these offenses are investigated by one overworked idiot in the game crimes department. These are their stories. Grounded 2 is early access, which means we are not trying them as fully functioning adults. Instead, we will try them as emotionally unstable children who wake up in cursed environments and immediately start crafting weapons out of sticks like tiny doomsday preppers. Right out of the gate, Burg.L gets his head ripped off. In the middle of the ceremony. No warm-up, no applause, just straight into robot beheading. The game went from science fair to Saw movie in 4 seconds. That's +3 to guilty. Objection. Wendell shows up in a purple beret, the color of orc mind control. Even Sloan is like, nice hat, are you evil now? Or are you just expressing yourself? But subtle details like this are amazing environmental storytelling that give subtle hints at why Wendell is acting out. Alright, 2 for not guilty. The opening cutscene tricks you into thinking this park is the hottest spot in town, with cops and reporters all around. Then you start playing and suddenly it's an abandoned wasteland. And now that everyone knows what Ominent did in the backyard, how is the park not overflowing with conspiracy dads pointing at new and emerging twig skyscrapers like, yep, that's definitely the kids, case closed. It's ridiculous, and it's also guilty. Objection. You wake up in a hot dog cart, sunlight pouring in like the universe whispering, hey buddy, today's your day. Then a massive cockroach barges in, with baby roaches waddling behind it like they're on Cursed Zoo Tour, and the universe goes, lol, never mind, and slams the refund button. But hey, new world, a new enemy type, and this view right out of the gate, I can't help myself. 2 more for not guilty. Game does not explain who put you in this cart, how you got there, or why the roaches have the confidence of Link walking into a stranger's home and smashing up all their pots without so much as a hello. Sloan Beaumont pops up on a 2D screen giving peak corporate pep talk energy, while my soul is speedrunning out of my body. She's all, hang in there. Ma'am, I'm halfway down a wolf spider's throat. The only way I'll hang much longer is if my photo goes up on the Employee of the Month wall. So 2 more for guilty for this incredibly useless advice. First mission objective. Don't die. Brilliant! A real confidence booster for someone currently getting folded by the local wildlife. You know, it's advice like this that makes me understand why all the other scientists are dead.
Anything interesting out here?
Objection. The ranger stations have become absolute beacons of hope, crowned by sprinklers like they're wearing a hydration halo blessed by the lawn gods. 2 for not guilty. Also objection. You are gifted this beautiful Omni tool. No longer shall you juggle 4 different tools in your bag. In fact, it takes up no inventory space, and when you upgrade it, it becomes a hammer, a shovel, and a wrench, the ultimate multi-tool, a homeowner's fantasy. 2 more for not guilty. Unfortunately, early access caps it at tier 2, turning half the map into a museum exhibit labeled, please admire the sour candy from behind the glass. Certainly, and you admire this guilty charge. Cracking acorns the size of studio apartments is shockingly therapeutic. Nothing soothes the soul like committing casual property damage against nature's architecture. 2 more on the not guilty board. Objections, twin brother. Making armor for the first time hits like discovering your main character arc. Suddenly you stand differently, you walk differently, you judge grass differently, you +1 on the not guilty board differently. Sadly, every time you craft better armor, you get just confident enough to pick a fight you absolutely cannot win. Wolf Spider, never heard of her. Let me just, oh my god, I'm done. Great, respawn +1 on the guilty board. You see a new blueprint and instantly go, oh cool, I can make that. You cannot. You need 20 materials that only spawn during a lunar eclipse. And unfortunately for Grounded 2, 1 random guilty charge has appeared from the tall grass. But here's a brief Grounded 2 navigation tip. If you're lost, face any direction and confidently say north. You'll still be wrong, but now you'll be wrong and loud, which certainly fits your playstyle. You think the wolf spider is the apex predator until you meet the true final boss. Being confident you have a dandelion tough and jumping to your death. 1,000 times. 2 more for guilty. You plan a glorious, organized fortress. You build something that suggests you inhaled bug spray and started following the voices. Now, every time you need rope, you have to retrace your steps like a forensics team. You uncovered another guilty charge looking through the container. Objection! Sloane's dialogue is fantastic. It's 40% helpful, 40% cryptic, and 20% I know where the bodies are even if I say I don't. But we certainly know where these 2 not guilty charges are. However, Sloane does have an amazing habit of contacting you only once the danger is over. It's amazing. Truly. It's like having an AI assistant whose primary feature is hindsight. And since she's not going to pop up in time to stop it, here's 1 more for guilty. Objection. You ride an ant. It's an off-road vehicle powered by Crumbs and Rage. And that powers are not guilty by +3. Furthermore, when you unlock the buggies, suddenly your inventory doubles, you can carry 12 planks like it's nothing, and you're moving faster than a mosquito tweaking on raw science fumes. And because the buggies are so awesome, we're giving it 2 more to not guilty. Now for one of the only drawbacks to the buggies. Before the buggy, a wolf spider parting the grass felt like a jump scare from Satan's pet. Every rustle was death. Every shadow was death, but faster. After the buggy, you're blasting through the park at Mach 10, a red blur so bright it should need a seizure warning, and suddenly it's Gran Turismo Backyard Edition. So this guilty charge is for ruining the tense atmosphere. Dead scientists litter the park, while I, a teenager with memory problems, am somehow still alive. At this point I'm convinced every Ominent employee got hammered at the company ceremony, and tried to ride wolf spiders bareback like it was a mechanical bull. So that's 2 for guilty, you drunk bastards. Also, half the corpses have 1 resource and a piece of spoiled food. It's like Ominent cut their funding so hard they couldn't even afford supplies to survive 5 minutes. So +1 more for guilty for the disappointment I felt robbing these corpses. Some of these corpses had recipes on them. Honestly, Ominent probably wrote, "Take my stuff when I die" into their employee contracts. Alright, +1 to not guilty, so that Ominent doesn't seek legal ramifications. Objection. The first time she hacks you, it feels like a pop quiz. Oh, you think your base is secure? Well, what if we test that with 6 angry cyborg bugs? Answer, it was not. But the fight sure was exciting, and so is 2 more to not guilty. The next crime is how confident I was ready for the Mass Stranger's first orc raid, right up until it started, and my entire base folded faster than a lawn chair at a tornado site. Oh well, 2 for guilty. Orc bugs hit with the power of an anime character who watched their whole village burn in episode 1. And have been training ever since. And that's +1 to guilty for making me want to watch more anime. Alright, Obsidian is way too proud of their new scorpions. They keep popping out of the ground like Jack-in-the-Boxes designed by Satan. Fantastic. Truly, the wholesome family-friendly experience I signed up for. And did someone at Obsidian get an email that said, "Scorpions belong in the desert"? And they were just like, lol, bet. So here's 1 more to guilty for ruining my dessert. And who could forget the praying mantis? This thing waits in the trees like a serial killer in training, taking notes on angles, lighting, and exactly how loud your scream will be. When it finally decides to drop like a green-bladed chandelier, I swear I tried to climb a pant to get up to the statue, but Obsidian left a little surprise in the form of a little green dive bomber that absolutely wrecked me in my underwear. So here's 2 more to guilty. I love those underwear. These transmitters are so important the Mass Stranger used them to nuke every Ominent asset in the park. Yet I hacked them by pressing 1 button for 2 seconds. Ominent's entire empire got wiped out by the equivalent of a toddler smacking a doorbell. Unfortunately, they also hit the guilty button. Objection. The picnic table was beautiful. It's childhood nostalgia mixed with lore bombs, a briefcase, kid drawings, lunchboxes, scattered magazines. This place is telling more story than Wendell ever has. I didn't sign up for this emotional ambush, but here I am, crying on top of a mustard bottle. +2 to not guilty for the nostalgia. Alright, you reach the trash can, take 1 whiff of the toxic fart cloud, and instantly remember you do not have a gas mask. So you turn around, walk the shame trail back home, and somehow collect 2 new weapons, a set of armor, 40 mushrooms, and a midlife crisis before you finally come back. So here's +1 to guilty for making me smell your fart, Obsidian. Shame on you. Fighting orc-controlled bugs while climbing the hedge felt like a side quest from hell. Everything wanted me dead, including the leaves. but reaching the frisbee and taking down 2 orc bombardier beetles? Oh yeah, peak main character energy. I basically created my own anime episode by accident. +2 to not guilty for being a lazy gamer reborn in a fantasy world. Wendell hiding a mind control acrostic is such beautiful environmental storytelling. It's like the dev said, here's a free chunk of lore for anyone with the patience of a librarian and the eyesight of a hawk. +3 to not guilty, help me, I am being controlled. So you take down all the transmitters, and I thought, I'll just wing it. Who needs walls? Turns out, I do. I need walls. Desperately. Because the bugs turned that skateboard into my open-air funeral. And in my character's last will and testament, he wanted +1 to guilty. Also during the Mixer event, there were times where my frame rate dropped so hard that the game became a slideshow of my suffering. +1 to guilty for slideshows. Objection for the chaos? It's like the 4th of July, a bug uprising, and your Wi-Fi dying all happening at once. Peak backyard mayhem, and the relief I get from beating the Mixer event, +3 to not guilty. Repeat objection. Using the ant buggy as a war chariot should be illegal, and yet here I am, drifting through hordes of angry insects like the world's tiniest war criminal. 1 more to not guilty. Objection, objection, objection. Giant headless robot in the park? Incredible. Beautiful. Nothing says mystery like a 20-foot mechanical corpse doing its best impression of a Greek ruin. 2 more to not guilty for Burg.L's beautiful sacrifice. However, even though he doesn't have a face, he radiates the exact energy of a parent sighing. I'm not mad, just disappointed. +1 to guilty for disappointment. Objection. Captain Nitro isn't a boss. He's what happens when a bug chugs 3 energy drinks, mainlines raw science, and decides you are the final obstacle between him and God. But in a good way. +2 to not guilty for the excitement. General Berserker has the HP of an Elden Ring boss you're clearly not supposed to fight yet. But he showed up anyway. +1 to guilty for bullet sponges. Objection! Entering Lieutenant Blade's arena feels like walking into a job interview where the interviewer is holding a knife and you forgot pants. But on the bright side, the vibes, immaculate. Best onboarding experience ever. Fun fight. Worth 2 more not guilty. Objection! The masked stranger starts as a katana demigod, becomes a yard wizard, then ends the fight using her spider like a Pokemon she EV trained in trauma. Beautiful. Terrifying. Peak grounded 2. Because of this, I'm awarding 4 to not guilty. From walking into this crazy arena to hearing this young voice talk about how we were warriors in the backyard, it's absolutely thrilling. Furthermore, her spider bandit is tailor-made adorable. Like if a Build-A-Bear workshop started accepting souls as currency. While we might not accept souls, we'll accept 1 more not guilty plea. Now the biggest crime of this fight. No face reveal. Ma'am, I just survived 3 phases, a flaming katana, wizard beams, and your pet demon spider. Show me the DLC content you call a face. If not, I'll show you +1 to guilty. Objection! There it is. Burg.L's missing head. Finally, after all that searching, and the game basically goes, cute, right? Anyway, don't you dare interact with it. But what can I say? 2 more to not guilty. Because we're reunited and it feels so good? Then Sloan basically goes, oh my god, you found it. Anyway, you can't do anything with it. See you in the next patch, loser. I need closure, ma'am, not a dev note. Objection! The Harry and Scary update came out, and Axel is massive. He's not a boss, he's a geographical feature. You don't fight him, you enter his time zone. +4 to not guilty for how many times bigger he is than every other enemy. Axel hit my FPS so brutally my PC started playing the fight in turn-based mode. So +1 to guilty for beating me and my computer. Objection! The tarantula armor equals emo ninja cosplay. So +2 to not guilty for emo ninja cosplay. So did Harry and Scary have a story continuation? Nope. Just a giant fuzzball committing crimes on my GPU. +1 more guilty. Objection! The Build 'em grid is the IKEA instruction manual I never knew I needed. Except this time the walls actually line up. Whatever, let's build them 2 more towards not guilty. The verdict, not guilty of being a bad game. But absolutely guilty of putting more video game breaking bugs in the game about bugs. for giving enough clues that it is most likely the fifth teen behind the mask, but not enough to absolutely prove it, and roach-related panic attacks. We hereby sentence Grounded 2 to prepare a significant update for the story while on house arrest in Ashferngrass's time capsule. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Game Crimes, Grounded 2 Edition. If you liked it, please give it a like, and if you want to see more, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below letting me know what do you think of Grounded 2.